Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the theme park evangelist. So I decided to take my laptop into my room and do a YouTube video this afternoon, evening, call it pre-evening from The Big Bang Theory, like Sheldon does. Anyway, so I normally would film out there in the family room, but my brother is off today. My roommate came home early, so I decided, well, I can't keep waiting to do any more YouTube videos, so I don't really have a choice but to do one in here. Yesterday, the reason why I didn't do one, even though I kind of wanted to do one, is because I knew I only had so much time to unwind, eat dinner, and clean before my other roommate's friend arrived, and spent the evening with him. Night really, because he was here till like after 11. But anyway, so I wanted to get all that stuff done before that all happened. So unfortunately, this is the earliest I could get a YouTube video in, and I don't know if I would have had the time tomorrow either, just because of the fact that my roommate's also going to be here tomorrow, and I figured that I would try to spend some time with him before he goes on vacation to Central Florida tomorrow. Sorry, not tomorrow, Friday. And then as far as Friday goes, if I do get a chance to YouTube, cool. If I don't, oh well, it happens, such as life. But yeah, time will tell. So I wanted to do my next chapter of my whatever you call it. Oh, I did not know I could do it. I had a pause button on this laptop. That's kind of cool when I'm recording. So I'll make sure I hit that pause button before I tell you guys the next chapter. So I do want to do another chapter on my life as a working Disney cast member series. And of course, it's been at least a few weeks since I've done that. But before I tell you guys the next chapter, I did want to give you guys another update on the trip in November. So, first of all, most major update, Kei Myoju, TJ's friend and another friend of mine, is going to be coming up here with him in November. So this is a pretty major update because she has never been here to Northern Kentucky ever. TJ's been here at least twice so far, maybe even 3 times. So if I think about it, this is probably going to be his 4th time. Let's, count this out. So he came here last September for his very first time. That was the trip where he got to do the whole Kings Island thing, and that's when I first showed him around Kentucky, Florence, Kentucky. I actually did a YouTube video on that. I took him to Cincinnati, Ohio. I took him to the Kenwood Town Center for the very first time. So that's what that whole trip was about. So that was his first time. That was also the trip where I did the Newsboys concert, which you guys can find. So the second time that TJ came up here was, trying to think here. I don't remember. Oh, yes. If I remember correctly, I had TJ up here earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think I had him up here right around March, but I have a feeling that he came up here even before that because, he made it sound like he was here twice this year, which I have a hard time believing, but at the same time, it's like one of those things. And so that might have been his second time up here because I had invited him up here earlier this year. I think that was actually his second time up here because the year. Oh, yeah, I remember. So I saw him back in February. That's what happened. But he didn't come up here. So I saw him back in February, right? In late February. That's when I went down to Central Florida. It was when I went to Disney and Universal, yada, yada. And then literally COVID happened right after that. Now I remember everything. So my parents allowed him to come up here when I was still living in Ellesmere. And that was the second time he literally came up here. Now, at the time, he was actually supposed to live with, well, not live. Well, yeah, you could say that. He was supposed to live with me for about 3 weeks. And unfortunately, okay, that's a lot better. Now you can see me better. Unfortunately, that 3 weeks kind of got cut down to maybe 5 days at that. It's me a very special person to sadly passed away. So I had to take him to CVG, the local airport, and like literally like 5 in the morning the next day. And the sad thing is I had to work that day, so it was kind of weird going back to sleep and then going to work and not having him there. And then one of my coworkers is like, "Really, he's gone already?" It's like, well, he had a reason, It's not like he just didn't want to be here anymore. It's called let me turn off this light. It's just kind of bright, That's a little better. It's called, he had no control over what happened. If, his family member or whatever passed away, then, it is what it is. So, as sad as it is, I had to get him to the airport so he could go home. Not Florida, his other home. He's not from Florida. He is from another state, but I won't say it because it's personal. But yeah, it's funny when the room is dark. My dark blue shirt looks more black, which is funny. But yeah, it was just a tough time. So this will be his third time coming up here. So this is supposed to be the trip that he is making that I'm going to make up to him, that he all the stuff he didn't get to do earlier this year, I want to do for him. All the stuff that he and I didn't know about last year, I want to do for him. Like, I've literally been kind of learning more about the areas I've been here. Yeah, I knew about the movie theater. It just didn't work out last year because so much happened all at once, plus my family was here. So this year, I'm going to completely dedicate it just to him. And now Kay is going to be here, so awesome. And she's going to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with us. So even cooler. So my YouTube channel is hopefully going to boost up with subscribers because of this. So, I'm really, really excited about all this. And, I have a really good feeling that, bringing Kay along is going to not just help him getting up here, coming from all the way from Florida and going through Atlanta, which is going to be scary, but also it'll give me someone else to spend time with, and also will give me the opportunity to show her the entire area, introduce her to some of the stuff I've gotten to do, introduce her to a few of the things I've gotten to show TJ, and see how she reacts to it versus how he's reacted to it. And, Kay doesn't have disabilities like TJ and I do. And, yeah, I'm a little bit on the better side than TJ, but, we're still human. We're still, created in God's image. And I still love TJ's, a brother from another mother no matter what. I cannot talk sometimes. So, I'm really praying and hoping that you guys will be more excited about this trip. And I cannot even tell you guys like how excited I am right now. It's September 23rd, tomorrow, September 24th. We're getting there. Just a reminder, they will be here November the 14th through the 21st. And I've already gone and requested November 16th, 17th, and 18th off. I've decided that we have got more stuff going on at the beginning of the week than the end of the week. The only thing I have planned for them at the end of the week is to go to Jungle Gyms if I open those 2 days, which is the basically. Well, I shouldn't say that I took off the. Hold on, I said the 16th by accident. I meant to say I requested off the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th. My bad. Because I automatically get the 15th and the 16th off. So if I do end up opening on the 20th and the 21st, then later on the 20th, like in the afternoon or so, I'm going to go take them to see a movie, and then we're going to go to Jungle Gyms and go out to eat. I figured we could do one then the other, or we can do the other then the other. It's like, it doesn't really matter. Jungle Gym's up until 10 anyway, so even if I do end up closing on the 20th, the way I see it is I can go to maybe a late night showing of Soul, which is the movie I actually would like to take them to see at my really nice movie theater. Maybe we can do that on November 19th, since I'm off that day, or as long as, it gets approved. I figured that the movie theater would be doing late night showings by that point. I mean, come on, the movie theaters are open by now, so that's the plan right now. I will be taking them to see Soul that night. If I do end up closing on the 20th, or if I have a mid, then that's still my plan. Unless, I get off like early enough. Let's say I get off at 6 o'clock or so. Well, either way, I mean, it doesn't matter as long as I have a mid. Yes, I would still go to the movie theater the night before, as long as I go in late enough. My theory is, if I go in like later than 10 o'clock in the morning, then I'm basically going to say, well, or if I go in at 10 in the morning or later, then I'm willing to, or 9:30 or later, I should say, 9:30 or later, I'm willing to go see the movie the night before. Because I'm not going to have a problem getting up at 8. Or even 8:30 for that matter. That's easy. But if, for example, I have an early enough shift where I start at 6 in the morning and I go in as late as, say, 9:30, which isn't too bad because I'd be done by 6, then yeah, I would be willing to watch the movie maybe that night. Because, if I got off at 6 o'clock at night, we could easily, go out to eat. Well, how should I put this? We could easily go see the movie, like, right away. And then drive out to Cincinnati, go out to eat, and then go walk around Jungle Gyms. Like, I honestly don't see how that would be a problem. And then the very next day, we wouldn't have to worry about the movie. I figured we could go maybe do Dave and Buster's or something, and then go out to the other Jungle Gyms, because TJ mentioned that he would like to do that last. Either way, it's one of those things you just don't know what's going to happen until you get there. And then, we would figure it out from there. Oh, okay, I see what my schedule's like. Like, right now, I'm just giving you guys rough ideas of what I have in mind. And that's basically what I'm going to do it by. And the reason why I don't mind working those 2 days is because, in fact, that this will give TJ and Kay the chance to go off and do their own thing and even come in and see what I do. I mean, yeah, TJ's already seen me because he came back up here and worked earlier, but Kay hasn't. So Kay has never seen me working at a job since I left Publix, and that was over a year ago. So this is going to be a big thing for her. Maybe we can get some pictures together. Who knows? Anyway, when I come back, I will tell you guys the name of the chapter. of the Life as a Working Disney Cast Member series video or whatever I'm going to discuss, and then we're going to get right into it. So, this vlog or video will be called My First Official Tomorrowland Attractions Cast Member Learning Day. That's basically what I decided to call the chapter. And I appreciate everybody's patience as I spent the first 15 minutes literally just giving you guys an update about my, friends coming up here from Central Florida. I cannot, stress enough how excited I am about them coming up here, and just, how much this is going to boost my YouTube channel with subscribers and content, as well as give me something to look forward to, as, this year has been more or less. Anyway, so you might be asking, what is, your, the name of your video mean? Like, I don't understand. So let's go over the whole thing. So it's been about 3 years or so, but I basically got asked to come in with my costume on, and I was told to meet by cash control, which is basically where all the cash for the Magic Kingdom goes. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I think I know where that is. I'm very sure I did kind of remember where it was at the time. I mean, keep in mind this was only like my second time going to work at the Magic Kingdom, and this was the first time I was literally going to that specific part by myself. So I was like, okay, at least I didn't have to go the rest of the way by myself. At least I had someone else with me, which is good. So, I got to the bus station and I hopped on the bus. And they had this, dumb rule where you cannot clock in the costume building because they have no way of seeing where you clocked in at. It's kind of creepy that, Disney needs to know where you clock in at all times. It's like, okay. But anyway, when I did get on the bus, unfortunately there was a lot of construction going on over by the utilidors by the time I actually got over that section. So by the time I clocked in, I was about 8 minutes late. I was like, no. At least, that time when I did clock in, at least I had complete control over that. It's not like that one time when TJ decided I'm going to stop at Dunkin' Donuts and get myself some breakfast. And then I show up at Disney University. I ask the professor, am I right on time? Oh, yeah, you're right on time. And then I still get penalized. Like, that made me mad because, when someone tells you you're, on time and you're not, and it's your first official time clocking in for the company, it's like, now at this point, I've been working for the company for a few months. So, I was a little more understanding that, I should be more responsible. And after that, I kind of learned I need to give myself a little more time getting here because I can tell this is going to become a ongoing problem. So the guy who was working with me basically at the time, he was like, okay, he was really nice, young guy, probably about my age currently. Keep in mind I was a little younger back then, but anyhow, it's like, okay, I'm going to take you to the heart of Tomorrowland. So he basically had me follow him all the way into the heart of Tomorrowland. And he showed me all the different break rooms. I got to meet all the different cast members in the area. I'm not going to quote you guys word for word what was said, but I'll tell you right now, I mean, everybody was very, very nice. It was really cool. I got there really early, so, the park hadn't opened yet officially. And he even allowed me to go with him to my first rope drop. So if you guys are not familiar with rope drop, that's basically when all the guests line up in front of the land or realm of the Magic Kingdom that they want to go to first. And there's a bunch of cast members that literally will stand right there and welcome the guests into the land of their choosing for the morning. And I've done that so many times working at Magic Kingdom. I actually worked with this guy named Shawnee, Sjonnie. Super, super nice guy. And he was really good about, as soon as they took away the physical rope, the rope's not, they're still there. It's completely imaginary, actually. I'm turning on electricity right now. I mean, he had so much imagination. Love the guy to death. I never want him to stop being himself. I cannot tell you guys how much I love that guy to death. And he worked at Space Mountain. Totally deserved it, too. Anyway, that's another story for another time. I'll talk more about Shawnee as I go through the series. But I can tell that, how should I put this? As I'm, talking about him, you can tell that I have some really interesting stories to tell you guys. And I'm, like, really looking forward to telling you guys, like, what it was like working in, Tomorrowland, especially opening Tomorrowland Speedway. I definitely would say that working at Magic Kingdom was by far my favorite thing I ever did at Walt Disney World. Sure, working at Tomorrowland Speedway was not always the greatest, but just being able to be in one of my favorite realms of the Magic Kingdom, just period, made it worth being there. If it wasn't for the fact that I was at Tomorrowland Speedway all of the time, I would have stayed. And I should have by rights, but you'll learn more about that as my Tomorrowland Attractions series continues, because this is a long one. Trust me on this one. But yeah, I was very happy that I got to do the whole rope drop thing. It was kind of cool. They do a big show right there on Cinderella's castle. They light some fireworks and the Mickey Mouse says, "Let the magic begin," or something like that. Sometimes I would joke around with myself, "Let the nightmares begin," because sometimes the guests could be a little rude. I know I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself, but I'll just tell you guys right now, just so you guys understand. Sometimes the guests were kind of a little rude, as my group had to go back to Tomorrowland Speedway, and meanwhile, I'm literally being pushed over or shoved out of the way so guests could literally just run right to Space Mountain. And sometimes Space Mountain was not open that morning, and the guests didn't know this because they're too busy running, and we're trying to yell at them, "Slow down, stop running. Space Mountain's not open yet." They just keep running anyway. I'm just like, why? I just didn't understand. It was funny though. Guests would eventually make it to Tomorrowland Speedway. And then it would get busy about 30 minutes later. Oh, it was great. But yeah, you'll get to hear more about that. But the best part about the whole Tomorrowland Attractions learning day was the whole fact that, as soon as I learned all about the whole entire land itself, and I got to see all the different break rooms. I got to meet all the different cast members. I got to meet the managers. I got to see where the manager's office was. Oh, yeah. They took me on every single ride. Like, I literally got backdoored on everything. I got to meet this really cool coordinator in training. Basically, it's a guy who's learning to be a coordinator, a supervisor of some sorts. And I'm still Facebook friends with him. His name is Phil Smith. And I really love this guy to death. And, older gentleman. But honestly, you would never be able to tell he's older. He had so much energy and so much spunk to him. He acted younger than he was. And he got a chance to train me on a position called grouper, basically, where you sort all the different people into different ride vehicles, I should say retrain. And ever since he retrained me, I excelled at it. That's just how good he is. So, I really appreciate you, Phil. I, cannot thank you enough for everything you've done for me, over the year and a half I worked for Walt Disney World, especially at the Magic Kingdom. So glad we're friends, I know you'll eventually forget about me because I'm not down there anymore, but I'll never forget about you. And that's all I definitely have to say to you, personally, right here, right now. But anyway, as far as like what happened the rest of that day, besides being backdoored literally on every single attraction, especially Space Mountain, which I was like, I mean, come on, doesn't want to be backdoored in Space Mountain unless you don't like roller coasters, which I can understand. I got to go on the People Mover, got to go on Buzz Lightyear, which was awesome. Sucked at it as always, but that's okay. I've had some really good days. I actually maxed out the score, but that's because the ride got stopped for about 10 minutes. And honestly, considering I did work on that ride for at least a week about that, I can tell you like numerous different reasons. It could have been a wheelchair that was being loaded on. It could have been a wheelchair being loaded off. It could have been a ride fall. It could have been anything. I mean, there's like two different ride faults to that ride. I have to be, reviewed on that ride, but honestly, if I got a chance to go back and retrain on that ride, I get it. There's so many different attractions except for Chest Track. I don't think I could do that one again. That I would like to go back and have another go at it again. Of course, I still have disabilities, so it's not like I'm just going to throw myself at something like super complicated, but that doesn't mean I don't want to, give something else a try that I've done before in the past. I'll make a minor exception for a few things, but otherwise, yeah, there's a few things I would definitely like to go back and try again. I hate to say I would never go back and work at Toy Story Land again, but once again, I have my reasons. I do love it as a guest, though, and I have pictures to prove it, but you would have to friend me on Facebook, my personal Facebook, and I only friend people that I personally know, so just one of those things. But yeah, otherwise, the day was, awesome. It was probably one of the last days that I would truly appreciate the place. Even the last like few hours were not even that bad at all. We actually got to go behind Carousel Progress, and I got to take this special class. Actually, a lot of classes took place behind Carousel Progress, and there was this other Tomorrowland attractions cast member that I became friends with, and he's from Canada, and we both became friends very quickly just because of the fact that not only was he nice, I was nice, and we had a lot in common. And he found out from me I'm also half Canadian, and I mean, yeah, he's full-blooded Canadian, but I'm only half. And besides the fact that I have family in Canada and family from Canada, I also have a dual citizenship, so that's why I'm Canadian as well as American. But if you were to ask me legally, what are you? I'm a U.S. citizen. Yes, I'm an American citizen. But anyway, yeah, a lot to definitely talk about this afternoon, evening, about just the trip that's coming up in November. And then, of course, really happy I got to go into the next chapter. There really wasn't a lot to say over this one, as you can tell or you guys can tell, I should say. There is definitely more to discuss in the future as I go further into the series. I think I'm going to be spending a lot of time just talking about, what it was like to open Tomorrowland Speedway, what some of the backstage secrets that you never would have guessed about the attraction, which I think would be really cool. I would also like to discuss, how weather really affected working at that attraction. What made that attraction to more challenging than any other attraction to work at. I mean, yeah, every attraction is difficult, especially Space Mountain, but Speedway had a unusual difficulty to it that and no other attraction had, and that's because of the environment, the climate, and the temperature. And I got hired at a very, well, I shouldn't say hired, but I got transferred over at a very interesting time. And it's not just because of the fact that the holidays were going on, but there was this jerk coordinator I worked for. And he was the kind of guy that if he saw you crying, he'd make fun of you for it. He was the kind of guy that he found it funny to make fun of people. And I remember one time someone bought him a Coke, and then he decided to get me involved. He was like, Dave, why don't you ever do that kind of stuff for me? It's like, really? Like, if he had said that to me now, I would have said to him, because you never asked me to. Like, I wouldn't be afraid to ask him. And he probably would have been like, well, I'm asking you to now. And I've been like, okay, I will think about it. I mean, honestly, he was that kind of guy that he was such a jerk, I wouldn't have even wanted to do it anyway. He just felt like, making fun of people just for no reason or treating people any way he wanted to. He felt like everybody was their carpet or his carpet, and he just walked right all over them. And I was not okay with that. I'm especially not okay with that because I've got a lot more backbone than I did a few years ago. And when I'm in front of customers, there's not a lot I can say. Like, a lot of me would like to say to a customer, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, but at the same time, there really isn't a lot to say to a customer. Like, at all. But if an employee, said something to me that I didn't like, I'll make sure I pull them aside in private. And I'll, make sure they know what they did was not okay. Like, last week, a supervisor decided to chew me out for no reason. So yesterday, I finally got the chance to speak to her in private. It was very quiet, and I let her have it. And I was like, I told her right then and there, I'm not okay if the way you treated me. I said, when you treat me like this, it makes me want to quit. It makes other people want to quit. When you treat them like that, like, I will not be treated like crap. And all that kind of stuff. And, I let her know that, I was very hurt by her actions. And all she kept saying was, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and all that. And it's like, all right. And then I, said to one of the new managers that we just got, and I want you guys to leave with this as I'm, wrapping up my YouTube video. There's a difference between saying you're sorry and actually being sorry. So, in the event that ever happens to you, just think about, is that person saying they're sorry, or are they actually sorry? Anyways, guys, that is all the time I have for today. I'm going to go take care of some more laundry. Then I'm going to go shower, shave. Then I've got to go to my church tonight and run the video for the praise band. So that will be over there. Come back, have some dinner, and then I'm going to call up Kay, and she's going to help me fill out my absentee ballot, which just arrived today. I've got disabilities, so I prefer to kind of work on that stuff here at the house versus actually going on public where I feel very pressured, hiding in that cubicle right there or whatever you call that thing, and between the dividers, I'm just like, And this one I'm getting it knocked out early, and it makes me very happy. I just got to get 2 witnesses to sign both the inner and outer envelopes, and otherwise, as soon as I'm done filling it out, I'm good to go. And I'm really excited about this. Anyways, guys, I hope you have an incredible rest of the day. I will continue to give you guys updates, I should say, about the trip. And hopefully I will get to do another vlog tomorrow or Friday. Till then, I will see you guys in the next vlog. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great day. Peace out.